Right then, obviously the gaffer is just about to start work, and United's squad does need a little bit of an overhaul. I think it's worth looking about which players in the squad you would keep and which ones you think can thrive and which ones we think we're probably going to get rid of. So this is going to be keep or sell Ruben Amorim edition. So start with a forward line, because I think the forward line is currently the big weakness in this Manchester United side. Rasmus Højlund could be a massive benefactor from Amorim. He does like channel running forwards, leading the line. Might discourage him from coming back and trying to hold the ball up a little bit. At 21, he's got loads and loads of room to develop. Amorim could shape him up into a goal-scoring forward. We know he's got the finishing technical ability. We know he's got very high goal-scoring instincts. What I don't think he has is the ability to shoot first time or score scruffy goals, and sometimes getting himself in the position to take advantage of any sort of like loose balls, just getting on the end of that sort of stuff. I think those are traits that can be developed. I don't think it's impossible for him. And if you actually look at a lot of the very, very best goal scorers, it's quite rare, really, to see people coming out of the gate with mad seasons. It takes people a while to get going, and then once they get going, they're fine. So maybe he'll be like that. Rashford. Right, on Rashford, he will have to adapt into Amorim's system, and he's either going to be the 9, and I think in that case he'd probably be behind Højlund. One of the players playing just off the 9, like a number 10, which actually would suit the way he's begun to play this season a little bit, because he's become a little bit of like a playmaking wide forward rather than the blistering, pacey winger that kind of got him to the dance. Or he becomes a wing-back. Now, I don't necessarily think any of those suit his particular attributes or get the best out of him. I think his wages represent poor value for the club at the moment, and you're never going to see a player sign a wage reduction. I think based on just on the inconsistencies of the last few years and the wages, I would move him on. These days, online privacy is more important than it's ever been. From working and streaming to shopping and banking, we are exposing personal data online constantly. Surfshark's VPN is here to protect you from prying eyes, ensuring that your information stays private and secure. This Black Friday, you can get an exclusive deal. If you head to surfshark.com/Howson, you're going to get 4 months extra of Surfshark at an unbeatable price. But act fast, this holiday pricing will not last for very long. With Surfshark, your IP address stays hidden, letting you browse privately and access content from around the world with just a click. Public Wi-Fi? Not a problem. Surfshark's powerful encryption shields your data from potential hackers. And with their super strict no-log policy, their online activity is not tracked or stored. Plus, Surfshark's clean web feature keeps ads, trackers, malware at bay, giving you a cleaner, safer browsing experience. And the best part, one account covers all your devices, from phones to laptops and more. So don't miss out on this deal this Black Friday. Head over to surfshark.com/Howson right now to secure 4 extra months at an unbeatable price. And their 30-day money-back guarantee means there is absolutely no reason to not give it a try. Big thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. Click the link in the description or head over to surfshark.com/Howson to start protecting your online life today. Garnacho. Similar to Rashford, I think he'll have to adapt, but the salary that he's on and the potential within him means that I think he gets a reprieve. He also gives you the adaptability in case you do need to switch up your formation, which we know Amorim's done in the past. He might help the decision-making. He might put a real kind of emphasis on the development of that decision-making. He might take him in and out of the team, as we've seen other managers do with other players, to really give him the opportunity to figure out where he needs to be. But I don't think he gets sold. I think he gets kept. Diallo. Now, I think Ahmad has become our best winger this season, and he could continue to be our best wide man under Amorim. He is literally the perfect sort of archetype of a player that would slot in potentially as a wing-back, but also as one of those inside forwards. because he's played there and he's succeeded there. I think he's got the real perfect archetype of a player that could just slot in. He's got that low centre of gravity, which means his lateral movement and dribbling is outrageously good. And he's also got that sort of inherent desire to press and get involved in duels where he's very successful in doing so. So I'm pretty sure Diallo's going to be very successful under Amorim, and I'm absolutely certain that he keeps him. Xerxes. So he is a totally different option to Højlund, but he really hasn't started the season well in the slightest. Basically scored with his first touch and then hasn't been able to find the net since. His worst qualities seem to have come to the forefront in recent weeks, but there's still a lot of quality to him. He gets involved in link play fantastically. He's very much in the Harry Kane kind of mould of where he gets involved with the link play without the Harry Kane goal scoring element, which would be really nice if he could add that. I think if he played with the two number 10s either side of him, if they were more adventurous minded, him dropping into the pocket wouldn't be a problem. If he played with two genuine 10s, say Mount and Bruno, and neither of them wanted to run in behind, that would be a completely dysfunctional system. There's an option of playing him as one of the 10s behind a forward that wants to run in behind, and that might work out for him quite well. I think there's an option for him there. I find him a really intriguing sort of character, and I always think you should have an array of tools in your toolbox. And I think Xerxes represents a different tool to any of the players that we've got at the moment. He's got to start scoring goals. There's no denying that or excusing the lack of goals in him. But he does offer us something different. And if you can figure out where that fits in to maximise the benefit for the team, I think there's a real opportunity that to have a good player there. So I think he gets kept. I would move heaven and earth to sell Antony. I would move absolute heaven and earth to sell Antony because I think he represents a massive failure from the previous manager and the previous sort of management regime. And I think if you want a clean slate and you want to move on, you have to draw a line under the bad things like that. And he's been probably the biggest flop in Manchester United transfer history, and you need to sell him. So in case anyone's a little bit unsure of what I'm after there, sell him. Midfield. Bruno Fernandes is the captain. He's had in different form this season, but he still creates chances all day long. Under Amorim, he probably wouldn't be defensive enough to play as one of the two central midfielders, but definitely would be a great outlet as the sort of right-sided attacking midfielder or number 10 in the system that we see. At a stretch, you could even see him used as a wing-back. There's no way he sells him. There's just no way that he sells him at all. He's absolutely getting kept. Mason Mount, a little bit like Xerxes, we haven't seen the best out of him in a United shirt, and maybe the systems that we've played haven't allowed that to happen. Injuries haven't helped with Mount's case either. Now, I think he makes a very, very sensible option for one of the attacking number 10s. I think he's got the skill set. I think his pressing mentality that he's got makes it him a very good option in there. And I think he gets kept purely on the basis of that he occupies one of the positions that we need versus, say, a winger where we don't actually know where and when they're going to fit into the team. So I think Mason Mount could really benefit from Amorim's appointment here. Casemiro. So probably not as past it as I and others have said originally, but there is absolutely a time and a place for him. He's played bloody well at times this season. And I think he's really benefited from having Ugarte alongside him. I don't think there's any value in selling him. Apart, yes, there would be some wage bill alleviation. I'm not sure how long he's left on his contract. I think if you kept him around and allowed him to go pretty cheap in the summer, that would be probably a good move for everyone. So even though I think you can still get a really good season out of Casemiro. Can you repeat that next season? Probably not. And for that reason, and also the emergence of Kobbie Mainoo, I think allowing Casemiro to finish this season on a bit of a high is probably the right thing to do. So I do say sell with Casemiro. So Ugarte, it's not too early to call this. I think Amorim's going to enjoy working with him. He does something that the other central midfielders are incapable of doing. He's an absolute keep. Eriksen has confirmed his plans to leave Manchester United at the end of this season. He's been a solid player, been a fantastic signing for us on a free transfer. So obviously it's sell, even though he's already kind of decided that he's going. Mainu, obviously a very young player. Probably have to figure out, does he sit alongside the attacking sort of pair of midfielders or the defensive pair of midfielders? And actually, I don't know the answer to that. I think he could probably thrive in either. So it'd be interesting to see where Amorim decides that he fits in. I think he'll probably lean towards being alongside Ugarte in that Casemiro kind of role. But I think he would excel in either of the two. And it'd be very interesting to see if he actually does play across both of those positions or if he just decides to pick him in one and keep him in there. But he's a keep, and there's no questions about that whatsoever. Defenders. De Ligt, new signing, great start, love him, he's staying. Simple as. Harry Maguire, because of the age of Johnny Evans, and let's be honest, he's probably going to retire soon, isn't he, Johnny Evans? I think Harry Maguire could be a massive benefactor of the Amorim appointment. 3 centre-halves, there's another opportunity to play for Maguire. He does suit a back three better than a two. But his contract's up at the end of the year. I think he'll be itching to play to see what he can do, either to get a new contract or to get a deal elsewhere. I think there's a lot better value out there and probably better suited players to the system. I would let him go. But I think there is an opportunity for him there, which if he takes it, you got no qualms with, have you? Lisandro Martinez. I actually think Amorim's going to love him. So it's a keep, right? And I'm just going to justify the keeping of him. He is a phenomenal defender. I think he is given the role of stopper rather than cover. So sometimes he looks like he dives in, but I think it's instruction. His passing and his ability to break the lines is sensational. He's absolutely sensational. And when you look at what Inacio does for Sporting, where he gets through to the midfielders and the forwards from defence, and you think, who'd do that on the United side? It's Lisandro Martinez. It absolutely suits him to a T. I think Amorim will come in and love him. And I think in a back three, he probably looks even better than he does in a two, because that aggressive side of him that wants to get on the front foot defending really benefits. And I think his ability to step into midfield with the ball becomes such a good asset because you've already got those two defenders behind. He can do that quite frequently and look to overload the midfield. I think he'll be brilliant for Amorim, and I'm certain he's going to keep him. Dalot. It seems like he's the most natural candidate to adapt to being a wing-back, even though he's not a natural wing-back. I think he gets kept, not because he's a countryman, but because of the fact that he can fit into that position and he will give it 100%. I think he can be upgraded when it comes to quality, but I think there's so many other issues in the squad that you'll get round to doing that eventually. He's not a squeaky wheel that needs replacing right now. It's like, we'll figure out with that when we get time. Lenny Yoro, we haven't seen him under Ten Hag. I'm sure we'll see him under Amorim. There's no way Amorim's selling him early doors, especially when he needs a back three. Mazraoui. Now, yeah, same, right? Same. He's going to be able to do a job anywhere. Looks like wing-back is where he's going to fit in, but I'm not sure that gets the best out of him. He's had a perfect start to life at Old Trafford for the fee. I think all of us are in love with how he plays the game. Such an intelligent footballer. You just want, though, when you have an intelligent footballer in your hands, they can make players around you better with a little communication and the options that they offer them. So I don't know where he fits in for sure, but he absolutely fits in, and I would keep him. Johnny Evans. I'd keep him. I wonder if the new gaffer would. I'm shocked at the quality that we're getting out of him for his age. He's performed so well. I think let him retire. Genuinely, let him retire. There's no way he's going to better this. Let him retire. So I'm going to say sell, but let him retire. Luke Shaw, probably closer to a centre-half than a wing-back, even though I think early doors Luke Shaw, like early 20s Luke Shaw, would have been a sensational wing-back in this system. At 29 now, he's at a massive crossroads. I don't trust him to stay fit. I'd sell him. I'm done with it. The decision to go with England in the summer, to me, represented an attitude that I don't want at the club. Club before country. Okay, cool. Pick a new fucking club then. See in a bit. So, Victor Lindelof. I'm going to be honest, he shocked me. He shocked me this season because I thought he was finished and I didn't think he had anything to offer. But the games that he's featured in this season, he's looked really good, like legitimately good. He's filled in at centre-half, he's filled in at left-back, he's filled in at right-back. I think if he doesn't rock the boat and he doesn't appear like he rocks the boat, there's probably a place in the squad for him to be one of the backups, and that's not a bad place for him or us to be. So I would keep Victor Lindelof if he wants to be here. Malacia, I got nothing to judge him on at the moment as well. I think you got to give him another roll of the dice, but if he can't get fit before the end of this season, he's got to go. I can't say more than that, can I? Onana, I really like Onana. I know he's not necessarily everyone's cup of tea, but I really like him. I think the criticism has been over the top. I think some of his long ball kicking, I don't know if that's our inability to hold the ball up with like Højlund and that, or if he's just not kicking it very well. But the kicking ability has gone a little bit awry, and if that needs fixing, but I wouldn't be like, oh, we're selling you. No, we're keeping him because he's really good. But I think he's very good on the ball, and he will suit what Amorim wants. Bayındır, he's a backup keeper. He doesn't need to be amazing. I haven't seen anything that makes me think he's all that just yet. He's played like twice or something. Probably keep him just because you need him. And then Tom Heaton, I would absolutely release him and let everybody know that he needs to be going to Stretford Paddock because that's where he can be a goalkeeper. Any questions? Okay, cool. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.